Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Cynthia and you are watching Cynthia Yoshikawa Yoga. And since this is my very first video, I just wanted to take the opportunity to introduce myself to you as well as let you know why I became a yoga teacher, what informs my yoga teaching, and most importantly, what I will be sharing on this channel with you. So, I have been practicing yoga off and on for like 25 to 30 years. I really don't even remember when I started, but it's been that long. So I only really started practicing consistently about 3 years ago because I had a hip injury that plagued me for like an entire year before. And in my case, it was absolutely preventable. So let me preface first with I am a massage therapist and an esthetician, and I educate my clients about self-care all the time. I have a very physical job, and I skipped my regular stretching routine because I was tired. And I did this for a couple of weeks. And frankly, this was the first chronic injury I had ever experienced. And I have clients who have chronic injuries, and I had no idea. And this was the first one. So I literally injured myself getting up from a low deck chair. Or more precisely, the injury showed up when I got up from this chair. And because it was the first injury, severe injury I'd ever experienced, I was in so much pain. I couldn't walk or drive. My muscles were so short and tight, I couldn't even stretch them. So I got lucky, got in to see my chiropractor and my MFR therapist, and it got better, and they got me to the point where I could actually start stretching it out and working on it myself. But I still had this lingering ache in my left hip, even with monthly treatments. And what I discovered in this journey is that chronic pain is quite depressing. And that part I didn't understand until I experienced it. I felt like this was the way it was going to be forever. And it was kind of a bummer. So I'd been in pain for about a year. And then the pandemic hits. And so all of a sudden, because my business had to close temporarily, I wasn't closed, but I had to close because for the health department required it, I had all this time. So I started a 30-day yoga challenge. It's like, hey, I'm going to be consistent. So I did this 30-day challenge, and then I discovered through this challenge, within a few days, the cause of my hip pain. And so here I am. I discovered, it was amazing. I did this 30-day challenge, discovered the source of my pain, and then within that 30 days, the pain was gone. Because I had a weakness, actually, in my hip. It wasn't a tightness, it was weakness in my left hip. So here I am, okay, months, into this shutdown, and I can't reopen my business for months. So I needed to figure something else out that I could actually do that didn't require me to work in my office. So, because in my mind, it was just amazing that I was able to help myself with yoga. I thought, well, let's try it. And then I started looking at my skill sets naturally. And so, first of all, I'm a massage therapist. So I see what my clients come in to me with, what issues they have. And I'm also an esthetician. And I'm also an elementary school teacher, and I've been substitute teaching forever, and I've been teaching for over 30 years. And because teaching is involved in everything I do, right? Everything. I'm educating all the time. So becoming a yoga teacher was just this natural fit for me. And I really do enjoy teaching. I do enjoy it a lot. So during the pandemic, I, like the crazy person I am, I completed a 200-hour online training and I got my 200-hour certification. And then I thought, well, I've got time. So I completed a 300-hour yoga teacher training. And I did all this, but I didn't start teaching yoga right away. And some people can do it, and they were just out there, man. They got their certifications. They were out there teaching, and more power to them. But I couldn't do it. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. And this is because the teacher in me needed to organize the information in a meaningful way into some sort of curriculum that would take into account how people learn, right? If you can't connect to it, it's not going to happen, right? Or it'll be more difficult, right? So it took a lot of thought to figure out how I was going to teach and who I would be teaching. Like, it literally took me just about 3 years to figure this out. And to kind of build up the courage to be able to do it. So the way I think about yoga teaching in particular is, as it is taught now, yoga is taught in a very Simon Says way, right? Call out a posture, you do it. Call out a posture, you do it. And it's just a very Simon Says way of teaching and learning, right? And there are a lot of people out there that method works for. Like, a lot of people. It kind of works for me. It works for me. I mean, I can take a class and do it, and most people can. But for some people, it just doesn't work for everyone, right? For some people, it can feel overwhelming, or like you're always one step behind and looking to everyone else around you to figure out what to do. And instead of feeling amazing, which is what everyone says you feel like when you've finished yoga, at the end of the class you feel like you're never going to get it. Like, it's too much. It's not going to happen. Or that maybe even yoga just isn't for you. So with that in mind, and with all the things that I learned during my yoga training, I thought it could be done differently. So the way I teach yoga is to start out with some foundational skills. Like, you need some solid stuff. What am I doing? What am I feeling? Because that's a big question people have. It's like, I don't know where I'm supposed to feel this. What is supposed to be happening? So just really foundational skills, right? And some of the pre-yoga information and skills that, just I wish that I had known, which would have been really helpful when I first started practicing yoga a million years ago. And what I find works well is to teach a skill, build on the skill, and then repetition to really solidify those skills. So I like to start teaching with smaller chunks of new material that we practice, and then as those skills develop and we solidify, then we add new stuff. We add new material until you have a full yoga session that you are pretty comfortable with. I am in this whole process because it's just this big process. There's so many things you can do. I am planning some posture breakdowns, some cue explanations, but I can't even tell you how many times I have been in down dog and I hear a cue and I look up and go, what was that? Because I didn't get it. So I want to do some cue explanations for some common cues that you might hear, and then you'll understand what they mean. I also want to do some fun demos and just give you some insights from my own practice, right? Just because my mind is always going and thoughts always come in. just some thoughts from my own practice that might expand your understanding of what you're doing and how all of this really in the yoga practice applies to life, right? Because ultimately, in this crazy modern world, when we become so separated from ourselves, our internal selves, ultimately it's a journey back to yourself. So it's kind of a lot. And I'm going to be doing this as I go. And we'll see how it is. I do have some actual things that are planned. And I'm actually looking forward to sharing this with you. And can't wait to get started soon-ish. So I will see you in the next video. I hope this gives you an idea of who I am and what you can look forward to here. So wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're well and content. And I look forward to having you here again soon-ish. Bye. Hey friends, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. It would really be awesome if you would watch, like, and subscribe because apparently it pleases the algorithm gods. Totally appreciate it. And let the sun shine in.